Alexa, what's the weather like in Tokyo for the next 3 days?
In Tokyo, Japan for the next 3 days, Tuesday, 47 degrees Fahrenheit and showers. Wednesday, 49 degrees and showers.
So that thing, this could be my home for the next 17 hours. We'll see if I can make it, guys. Been on the airplane for about 12 hours now. Getting there a lot earlier than I thought. In about an hour, we'll be in Tokyo, baby. I finally made it, guys. The magical land of Japan. We made it! Woo! Tokyo Nihon, konnichiwa! And I didn't come alone either. I had some friends too. The gang's all here. Lucas, Hiromi, Sean. We're gonna do Japan for the next 2 weeks, as soon as our bus comes. Oh my god, what a day. This was the first time I had ever explored another country on my own. And what better way to start Japan than by having some authentic Japanese ramen. I had some practice purchasing things with the yen prior to this, so figuring out the machines wasn't too much of a hassle. And I gotta say, those first noodles were absolutely heavenly. I also stopped at a convenience store on the way back to the hotel. I figured I might want to celebrate with some authentic Japanese beer. Day one in Tokyo was a blast. Can't wait for tomorrow. I got dressed into the pajamas that the hotel provided and got a good night's sleep. Tokyo is the biggest city in the world by far. With 14 million people in the city limits alone and a metro area of almost 40 million people. That's about 1/3 of the entire country's population. With a city this big, I was wondering how I was going to make it for 3 days. Our first stop was dropping off our bags at the hotel in Shinjuku. Made it to Shinjuku! Woo! Shinjuku is a more hip and trendy part of Tokyo. A lot like Times Square in New York City, but far more jumbotrons and far more buildings. A lot of these buildings are built very close together too. Not like in America, where the street divides pretty much every city block. We dropped our bags off and took another train to Takashita Street in Harajuku. This street is a huge hub for youth culture, with plenty of places to shop and some live music too. I was completely overwhelmed by all the street shops in the area. It took a little bit of gawking around, but then I found what I was looking for. A lot of TikTokers like to wear this thing, a froggy hat. And of course there was some other humor too. It's not uncommon to see girls in colorful outfits in this neighborhood. These two Harajuku girls were nice enough to let me get pictures with them. Well, there's another family marked. Got a million of those around town. When I walked into the t-shirt store, I had to get something with Tokyo written all over it. And I quite literally found what I was looking for. Silver coins. I don't need a map to get around Tokyo. I know this entire city's layout from playing Pokemon. Alright, now where's the Silpco building? Hotel number 2. We finally checked into the new hotel. It was about the same size as the last one, but with more to see out the window. I went to the arcade next to the hotel and found at least 200 to 300 claw machines in it. They were all owned by Sega too, so I found it a bit ironic that Nintendo stuff was in Sega machines. I even tried grabbing a Pokemon plushie from one of the claw machines, but upon the claw rising, Come on, stay on, stay on. Yeah, I had a feeling I wouldn't win anything, but I still felt like I was in paradise, especially when I discovered more machines upstairs. There was a place called Kabuki Hall just across the street from our hotel. I got to see a free band play there. Shinjuku at night is even more beautiful than during the day. One has to wonder how people sleep with all these lights on. I would definitely need blackout curtains if I lived here. We then found ourselves in a very cramped sushi bar somewhere in downtown Shinjuku. It all looks so good. The sushi there, absolutely appetizing.
Ooh, yeah. I just started using Trader Joe's.
And then came the sake. It was hot sake with a little crab leg in it for flavor. I'll let my reaction do the talking. Just in my first onsen bath. And I gotta say, felt really refreshing. Of course it has to be off screen because you have to be completely butt-ass naked in order to be in the tub. Take my word for it. If you guys come to Japan, do the onsen. Day 3 in Tokyo started at Tsukiji Food Market. I was completely blown away by how many different food choices there were just on this city block. You won't find nearly this much selection at a farmer's market here in America. And yes, that is me eating baby crab. Apologize if I offend any vegans watching this.
Cucumber yesterday. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This is really sweet.
Ichibadori is a very famous sushi restaurant within this market, so we all decided to eat there for lunch. I gotta say, every time I eat sushi, it feels like heaven. And this is real, authentic sushi I'm talking about, not the American kind. Tsukiji Market was a real treat, but we still had a whole day of running around to do, so we set course for Tokyo Skytree. Right off the elevator in the plaza is an entire Doraemon store. Hiromi grew up on Doraemon. She said this manga character is about 90 years old. Just look at all the merchandise in this store. And right around the corner was the Pokemon Center. My place to be. I had never seen so many Pokemon plushies in one area before. Aisles upon endless aisles just of Pokemon dolls. It was a really tough decision narrowing it down to which one I wanted. I had some favorites like Shedinja and Snorlax, but I went with Eevee. They didn't have Jolteon, so I got my next best choice. I choose you, Eevee. It was time to hit Skytree. 2,080 feet high, making it the third tallest building in the world. The view from the lower sky deck was super breathtaking. You couldn't see the end of Tokyo beyond this horizon. With so many buildings in every direction right below your feet, it makes New York City look like a small village. Just take a look at these views. Forget Chicago or New York. This is a real city. And then there is the glass floor that lets you see the street right below your feet. That's a long way down. Best hope this doesn't crack. Hiromi pointed out this little peanut-shaped building. Turns out that's the Poop Museum of Tokyo. Now that place sounds like a very shitty time. So, I wanted to go there, but I'm with two women in their 50s on this trip, so I can see why they turned it down. Our next stop was Sensoji Temple, one of the last remnants of old Tokyo. We met up with Hiromi's friend Kana there, she decided to stay off screen for this. We finally made it to the temple, and I paid a little bit of respect. I even got my fortune read too. Kana said number 86 was the best fortune to get here. Endless opportunities and wealth is the bulk of it. It was about time we grabbed lunch, so we all went to a restaurant where they make the food right in front of you. We have places like this in Rochester, but then again, it is not the same as what I was fed here. There are at least 3 rounds of food, all very different from each other. This particular dish, you have to pick piece by piece. I guess I bit off more than I could chew, because all of my food was a bit undercooked. And then came the bacon and the eggs. That omelet may have been in front of my face, but it was soon going to be in my stomach. A little tricky to pick it up with chopsticks, but I caught on. I decided to check into a capsule hotel for the last night of Tokyo, and it's exactly what it sounds like. A 6x4x4 foot pod with just a bed, a TV, and a radio in it. It felt cozy, since I was super exhausted from running around town all day. I was watching what appeared to be a Dragon Ball documentary, but it was actually news that Akira Toriyama had passed away. That man was responsible for bringing anime to the West. Even if you weren't an anime fan, you watched Dragon Ball Z back in the day. I couldn't let this heartbreak ruin the rest of my vacation, let alone Tokyo. So it was time to hit Shibuya Scrytree. And boy oh boy, was it the most beautiful thing I had seen yet. The entire city of Tokyo lit up at night. We may not have been as high as the other Skytree tower, but being the area we were in, with all the lights on all the buildings, Hiromi was right when she said Shibuya Scrytree was the real deal. I didn't get a chance to visit Tokyo Tower, but I got some pictures of it in the distance. In the gift shop, I went to get a Hachiko plushie. With Shibuya Scrytree over, it was now time to cross the busiest intersection in the world. Hiromi and Sean were both dead tired, but I was determined to cross that intersection and further clog up traffic. We're really walking on the busiest intersection in the world, Shibuya Scramble Square. You can get lost in here. In case you're not familiar with the story of Hachi, this dog's owner died of a heart attack unexpectedly. And so Hachi here waited in this exact spot until he died, waiting for his owner to return. The city then erected the statue in his honor. Sean and Hiromi went back to their hotel. I decided to go out on my own to a place called Book Off, a secondhand store full of new and used video games, CDs, DVDs, musical instruments, books, and more. It was really weird seeing Japanese N64 games in the store, and not English games like what I'm used to seeing. Yeah, see, I have the copies of a lot of these games, but here, I can get the Japanese copies of international releases for a fraction of the price I would pay to buy them online. I think I'm gonna get this one. Last but not least, I had to hit a McDonald's. I wanted to taste test the Japanese Mickey D's from the American Mickey D's. I got my usual order, a 10-piece nugget with fries and a Coke. It's not too different from America's. In fact, it's about the same. The Coke does hit it, though. The Coke is different. It was nearly midnight after McDonald's, and I was exhausted, but I found my way back to the hotel with a 2% battery left. I honestly don't know how Tokyo people do it. You have to be conditioned to handle the stress and the rush of a city like this. Hiromi always said that people here ignore you, they don't talk to you, and they can come off as rude. And while she may be quite right about that, Tokyo is a tough city with tough people in it. If you don't swim, you're gonna sink. It may be impossible to do everything you want in Tokyo within 3 days, but with the little time we had, we made the most of it. Tokyo kicked my ass. I am exhausted after 3 days. I'm also, I believe, fighting either a sinus infection or ear infection. But at this point, I don't care because the rest of the trip has yet to come. We get a good night's rest in this capsule hotel, and I'll fill you in on the next video. Sayonara, oyasumi nasai.